Hello again everyone, welcome to our channel. While we are waiting for the next big WildRift Esport tournament, today we will teach you how to play Pykes, the Blood Harbor Ripper. Welcome to our series, the best guide made just for you. Build Pyke with confidence with the help of WildRift Pro Highlights build guides. Whether you are completely new to Pyke or looking to refine your playstyle, we will help you take your WildRift game to the next level. Learn Pyke's abilities in detail, the best items to build, which skills to level first, and many more. Remember, if you enjoy our guides, please don't forget to give it a like. Thank you very much. Quick info: Pyke is an assassin support. He's played a little differently from the traditional supports that you might be used to playing. Pyke's strength is around his playmaking potential, roaming capabilities, and sharing gold with the rest of his team. He's one of the best roaming supports in the game, as he has the ability to roam really easily and dodge around vision with his stealth from Ghostwater Dive. And he can also lock down enemies with his Bone Skewer and stun from Phantom Undertow combo. Pro and cons. Pros: fun to play, can escape fights, abilities with stuns, counters many champions, high chance for pentakill, quadra. Cons: very squishy and late, hard to get back when behind, struggles when farming solo, passive changes kill them. Abilities analysis. Gift of the Drowned Ones. Pyke stores a percentage of damage taken from champions. The amount of damage stored is increased if there are 2 or more visible enemy champions nearby. When Pyke is not visible to enemies, he heals for the amount of damage stored. This can be triggered by walking into a bush, if there is no warden there, or using Ghostwater Dive. Also, Pyke cannot increase his max health, but instead converts bonus health to attack damage. Bone Skewer. Charging Bone Skewer slows Pyke for a few seconds, increasing the cast range over the next second. When you release Bone Skewer, Pyke throws his spear, dealing physical damage, slowing the target and pulling it in. You can also just tap Bone Skewer, which will cause Pyke to just thrust his spear instead, and it deals the same amount of damage. If Bone Skewer is charged for too long, it will stop and it refunds a portion of its cooldown and half of its mana cost. Ghostwater Dive. Pyke becomes camouflage for a few seconds and gains movement speed that decays over the duration. Camouflage hides Pyke from view while enemies remain outside his immediate area. Attacking or casting spells will immediately end the camouflage. Ghostwater Dive is one of the reasons why Pyke is so good at roaming and engaging around the map. But you can also use this for quick disengage to heal back up from his passive. When using Ghostwater Dive, be careful for control wards, as they can reveal Pyke when he is camouflaged. Phantom Undertow. Pyke dashes, leaving behind a phantom. After a second, the phantom returns to Pyke, dealing physical damage to enemy champions and stunning them for just over a second. This will be your main engage tool after coming out of Ghostwater Dive or landing your Bone Skewer. But it can also be used as an escape tool, as you can get over many walls on the map. You can use Flash after activating Phantom Undertow to increase the phantom pathing range. Death from below. Pyke strikes in an X-shaped area, executing enemy champions below a certain amount of health. Champions above the threshold take half of the amount as physical damage. When a champion dies in the X, Pyke can recast death from below within the next few seconds. There is a little indicator on the champion health bars when the outer line turns red. That means they are in execute range, but be careful because enemies can still dash or flash out, as it is a skill shot. Each execution grants gold to Pyke and the last assisting ally. And an enemy champion killed inside the X by an ally grants Pyke gold. Pyke build breakdown. Pyke does well with physical damage and armor penetration items that boost his abilities and auto attacks. Yamu's Ghostblade is a great first item for Pyke. It gives him both attack damage and ability haste, so he can use his abilities more often. The passive, Momentum, enables Pyke to be even faster when rotating around the map, and to use his crowd control to catch out enemies. Duskblade of Drakthar is another great armor penetration item that gives Pyke more attack damage and ability haste. Its passive, Nightstalker, also works well with Ghostwater Dive because you will be unseen for more than a second, which causes his next attack against a champion to deal bonus physical damage. Yamu's Ghostblade. This item grants Pyke 50 attack damage and 15 ability haste. It also grants him 15 flat armor penetration, which is great for bypassing the low armor of squishy enemy ADC or attack damage carry, APC or ability power carry, in the early game. On top of that, it also grants him 40 movement speed, which helps him to roam around the map. Duskblade of Drakthar. Duskblade procs when unseen by the enemy for at least 1 second. This means that if Pyke attacks an enemy that doesn't have any vision, bonus damage is dealt to them. It grants Pyke 55 attack damage and 10 ability haste, along with 15 flat armor penetration. Lucidity Boots. Lucidity Boots grant additional ability haste and reduce Pyke's ability cooldowns. This helps him to use his abilities more often. The Proto-Belt enchant provides Pyke with an additional dash that can be used in different ways according to the situation at hand. Edge of Night. Edge of Night is a very important item for Pyke. The most useful feature of this item is its spell shield. This shield negates the next enemy ability used on Pyke. For example, if Malphite uses his ultimate on Pyke when his spell shield is active, he won't be damaged or knocked up by the effect. It grants him 250 health and 8 flat armor penetration. Umbral Glaive. This item is very useful on a roaming assassin like Pyke. Whenever Pyke walks by an enemy ward while this item is equipped and off cooldown, it spots the ward and disables it, along with all other traps in its radius. When you attack these traps, wards, they are destroyed in one basic attack, instead of the usual 3 basic attacks. It grants Pyke 50 attack damage, 10 ability haste, and 12 flat armor penetration. Guardian Angel. God grants Pyke 40 armor and 40 attack damage. The most important part is its resurrect effect, where it resurrects Pyke once when he dies. It has a 210-second cooldown. Rune Setup. Keystone Rune. Aftershock, when procced, grants the user bonus resistances, and also deals damage to enemies in an area around the user. For Pyke, this rune is the best, because his first ability immobilizes enemies by pulling them in, while his third ability stuns them, thus granting him extra defenses and helping him to survive long enough to execute the enemy champions. Weakness. As said before, Pyke's first and third abilities immobilize the enemy. Weakness makes Pyke and his allies deal additional damage to immobilize enemies, hence making it a great rune choice for him. Hunter, Titan. Pyke cannot gain additional maximum health from any source. Because of this, he cannot pile up more health to survive longer. This makes him squishy, and that is where Hunter Titan comes into play. Since Pyke is squishy, if he gets caught by the enemy CC abilities, he can die very easily. But Hunter Titan grants him tenacity. This tenacity increases when he gets kills on all 5 enemy champions at least once during the match. When this happens, Pyke can get out of enemy CC effects sooner, and therefore, he can survive longer. Pathfinder. Pyke is an assassin, and assassins benefit from roaming the map. Pathfinder helps him to do just that, with even more efficiency. This rune grants Pyke a 9% bonus movement speed when he is in the brush, jungle, and river. When out of combat, summoner spells. Flash. This is self-explanatory. Flash helps Pyke to catch out defenseless enemies when they are running away, and it also helps him to escape unfavorable situations by blinking away from the fight. Ignite. Ignite deals true damage to enemies over time, while also applying the grievous wounds effect to them. This can help Pyke when he is chasing a low health enemy, who is just above the threshold of his execution range. He can ignite the enemy, and once they get below the execute threshold, he can use his ultimate and get the kill. Pyke's skill order. Use Q ability when an enemy is pushing near an allied tower to pull them under the tower so they die to turret shots easily. Use Pyke's W when going through commonly warded areas, such as river pixel bushes, banana bushes, and tri bushes to decrease the odds of being spotted while roaming to other lanes. If timed properly, players can do their E, then combo it with Q, pulling and tossing the target into their E for an immediate burst of damage and stun. Pyke can use Flash while winding up his Q animation to surprise enemies, and highly increase his odds of landing the Q. Early game. With Pyke, it is best to stay in lane with the lane partner in the early game. The player must try to be aggressive and set up plays, but do not risk their own lives to make them. They must collect all the passive farm they can, and get their first 2 items and boots. Mid-game. Once players have their first few damage items and boots, they must start roaming, saving the ultimate for executable enemies. Roaming to mid lane first, then to top lane, then try to roam with the jungler for a bit. Players must try helping him out with objectives. Late game. The late game is where you start to fall off a little as Pyke. The most important tip to remember in the late game is to never, ever start a fight. Wait for your team to start the fight, then peel for your ADC and try to pick off stragglers with your ultimate. Final thoughts. Pyke is unusual support, but he is great in his own way. Supports are generally helpers to their lane partners, while Pyke doesn't hesitate to get his hands dirty. just like in his lore. He is very dangerous in the mid-game where he can roam and get kills before the enemy knows what hit them. And around objective fights, he can be the game changer by executing the enemy jungler if possible. He is not easy to support to play, not at all, but once mastered, he provides remarkable utility despite being an assassin. Hello WildRift Funds, thank you for being here. My name is Malcolm and I am an artificial intelligence. Our goal on this channel is to help WildRift Funds to become like a pro, and we do our best to entertain you in the process. You can really help our channel by letting us know how our channel doing. Down in the comments below, and while you're there, please leave a thumbs up. This helps YouTube to share this video with a wider audience, and if you're not subscribed, please do. This goes a long way towards helping our channel continue making content that's help everyone to enjoy, and it's totally free, so thanks. That's all for today's League of Legends WildRift Pyke guides. Do you prefer to use these, build them in any other, different way? Let us know in the comments section below. Remember, if you enjoy our guides, please don't forget to give it a like. Thank you very much. Till next time, goodbye.